comment,
and subscribe for more content.
Where's the notification bell?
It's to the right of you.
Oh.
What's up, guys? Welcome to this edition of a Funko Popcast. I am DK Wrestler.
And I am the MVF, Daddy Dilts.
Nice. And in today's podcast, we got a crap ton of Funko Pops to discuss about. Last week was our two-part fandom-related podcast on Pixar, so thank you to everyone who had tuned in for that podcast last week that released actually a week earlier than normal. Things were a bit slow, so we decided to move up that podcast. But today we have a lot of Funko Pop announcements ranging from November 8th to November 20th. We are not going to be including the CCXP reveals on this week's podcast. That will be next week. But also, as of 2 minutes ago of recording this podcast, Funko decided to drop some fire with Spider-Man No Way Home, which will also be discussed about on next week's podcast. But yeah, the MVF Daddy Dilts here, because we discussed about in the podcast a couple weeks ago. Robbie D is now a dad, most valuable father. How is the father life?
Well, honestly, not too bad. I mean, it has its moments, but I'm sure any parent could attest to that as well. So it's going good, though.
That's good to hear. We might as well kick off with the first set of Funko Pop announcements, which I should also mention that there's also going to be the top 10 list. I should have mentioned that. That's literally the title of this podcast. So starting off this first section of Pops, November 8th, Funko Europe had announced a do-it-yourself Football Freddy Funko, which is available now on the Funko Europe website. Then on November 9th, Funko had announced the redeemable Pops for the Matrix Funko Series 1 NFTs, which we have got ourselves Pops of Morpheus, Neo, Trinity, and the twins that are your legendary Pops limited to 1,550 pieces. We got a Neo that's going to be the Grail limited to 999 pieces. And then we have the Freddy Funko as Neo, which is limited to 2,000 pieces. And of course, the cards have since sold out. Then on November 10th, Funko had finally confirmed the holiday Guardians of the Galaxy Pops, which we got ourselves Pops of Mantis, Drax, Star-Lord, and Groot, along with a 5-pack involving those 4 commons, but also the inclusion of Rocket Raccoon, and that will be exclusive to Amazon, and those are available now. Then on November 11th, Funko continues Funko Fridays for Target with a Wonder Woman Pop for the Justice League lineup, unknown of when that'll be releasing. Funko had confirmed on the Funko app of a pop of Dorothy from Black Clover and a 10-inch Darth Vader lights and sounds pop, which I believe the Dorothy pop actually releases today as we are recording this podcast. And the 10-inch Darth Vader, the lights and sounds pop, I believe has been confirmed to be November 28th as the release of that pop. And then last but not least for that day, Pop Culture had confirmed a couple of exclusive Pops. First of Jerome McGinley from the Calgary Flames, a do-it-yourself Albus Dumbledore, and an exclusive Koska Reeves from The Mandalorian. And those are available now on Pop Culture's website with restricted shipping to the US. And then last but not least, for this specific section of Funko Pops, on November 14th, Walmart had confirmed brand new Pop concert moments, and there's 5 of them listed. We have ourselves first a Run DMC in concert, which features Run, Jam Master Jay, and DMC. AC/DC in concert that features Brian Johnson, Malcolm Young, Phil Rudd, Cliff Williams, and Angus Young. Kiss Alive Tour 1978 that features the Demon, the Catman, the Star Child, and the Spaceman. A Master of Puppets Metallica Tour 1986 that features Cliff Burton, Lars Ulrich, James Hetfield, and Kirk Hammett. And last but not least, we have U2's Zoo TV Tour 1993 that features The Edge, Bono, Larry Mullen Jr., and Adam Clayton. And those are available now in the US. All right, so Robbie D, let's hear your opinions about these Pops.
Alrighty, so kicking off with the do-it-yourself Football Freddy Funko, or, us Canadians could call it soccer. This is a pretty nice Pop. Looking at it, well, complete, actually, in the glam shop, but obviously it's white, obviously, because you can, do whatever you want with it, like paint or spray, whatever. I mean, am I a fan of these do-it-yourself pops? I wouldn't say I am. Like, I wouldn't go out and just buy a do-it-yourself pop. I mean, depends on what pop it is, but I don't really have the feel for the do-it-yourself pops, honestly. Next pops we are going to talk about would be the Matrix. We've got Morpheus, Neo, Trinity, the twins, Neo, and Freddy Funko as Neo. So we got two different Neo pops, it looks like. Well, three if you want to include the Freddy Funko as Neo. They all look pretty sweet. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I watched your NFT video on this. I'm pretty sure you did one, if I'm not mistaken. Like I said, I think all these pops look very, very detailed, and especially the one where he's doing the Matrix pose, which is really nice. The twins, again, I think they executed that one nicely. Next, talking about the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special pops, I think all of these look pretty good, I have to say, especially Star-Lord. I think Star-Lord's most detailed out of the bunch here. Next, moving on to the Justice League Wonder Woman. It looks like a very simplistic Wonder Woman pop to me, but it looks really nice nonetheless. Then we've got Dorothy from Black Clover. I have no idea what Black Clover is. I think it's some sort of anime, if I have to guess. But yeah, it looks detailed, I'd have to say, with like the different coloring to it, like the pink, and then also looks like green and pink on the top of the hat there, and some darker colors at the bottom. Looks really detailed. And then, of course, the lights and sound Darth Vader. I know, obviously, Darth Vader being your favorite character in Star Wars. I'm not sure if this is a pop that you would cop. It's a really nice pop. And of course, we've seen lights and sound Star Wars pops before, so we know what we're getting into with this one. Next, the pop culture Jerome McGinley. I'm finally happy that they decided to make a Jerome McGinley pop, because he was a key player for the Calgary Flames for quite some time, and it's just nice to see them pushing out new hockey players. Then we've got the do-it-yourself Albus Dumbledore. Again, you know my opinion on do-it-yourself pops now. And then also we've got Coaster Reeves from Star Wars. Again, I've only watched 30 minutes of A New Hope. I'm not too big on Star Wars, so I've got no real opinion on this pop other than, I mean, it looks okay with detail and coloring and everything. And then finishing off this section, we've got the concert moments. I'll just run through it quickly. Run DMC, pretty great band. I like it. And then we've got AC/DC, also another great band as well. I do like these new concert moments. And if you haven't, cheap plug here, go check out Dylan's recent video of the concert moments on his YouTube channel. AC/DC, Run DMC, Kiss. I think this would probably be my favorite out of the bunch. I've listened to Kiss quite more than the other two that I've mentioned already. We've got the Metallica Master of Puppets tour, really great pop as well, or great set of pops inside this box. And obviously the Zoo TV tour from U2. I actually like this one as well. It looks pretty detailed. No complaints on any of these pops.
All right, so for me, kicking off with the do-it-yourself, Freddy Funko football player, yes, here in, I guess I could say North America, because I think a lot of Americans also say soccer instead of football. This is pretty decent. I mean, it's cool for the sake of wanting to customize your own jersey. I mean, if you have a favorite football team, then I guess you can do that, especially because I believe right now is the World Cup, if I'm not mistaken. So I guess perfect timing if you were to get this pop and do a customization on that. Then we got ourselves the Matrix Funko NFT pops, which, yes, I did do a video on the channel on these NFTs. These are okay. I mean, the legendary ones are all right. I'm more of a fan of the Grail pop. Like, the twins was a little bit of mixed hype because of the fact that people were expecting the very first ever NFT 2-pack with the twins. Instead, they kind of did that whole thing with like that one character from the new Men in Black movie where you have like the one head and then the head's kind of attached to it for the other side. And then, yeah, the Grail Neo is such a smart idea because, yeah, you have like literally one of the most famous movie scenes of all time being pulled off where he's dodging the bullet. And not only that, you actually have the trench coat acting as a stand instead of just having the clear stand and having him kind of like bent over, and it would look awkward. And then Freddy Funko as Neo, I mean, that's all right, I guess. I mean, I'm not too fond of Freddy Funko all that much, but I mean, there are some good Freddy Funko pops, especially with the NFTs. We have the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special pops, and I mean, these have already been released the last couple of months or weeks, I should say. I don't know why they waited until basically this point to announce them when they had already been released in stores. But it is what it is. They are pretty decent. I like the Groot with like the oversized present. Normally, I don't like these multi-packs where it's just repurposed commons. But then the money grab here is the fact that you can't get Rocket Raccoon as a singular pop. So this is the time where you basically can say you can get the multi-pack because you get that one extra pop you can't get in the singular form instead of getting these singular pops. We have Wonder Woman for Funko Fridays, the Justice League. And I mean, I like Wonder Woman, especially the DCEU movie from 2017. That movie was fantastic. And I mean, I love the way that this looks. I love the cell shading that's involved, especially with the outfit. And then you have the blue streaks going on in the hair. I think they did a great job. And especially, I mean, it does have the clear stand, but it is what it is for her to be in that flying pose. So it's really awesome. Then we got Dorothy from Black Clover, which, yes, Black Clover is an anime. I have not seen it yet, but I guess perfect timing for the release of this pop because yesterday they did release, or not release, announce a Black Clover pop for CCXP that we will be discussing about on the podcast next week. So they are pumping up some Black Clover pops as of late. And this one looks pretty decent. I'm really curious about what this character is and like what she does, I guess. I'm going to have to take a look eventually at Black Clover. There's still a lot of animes that I still got to either catch up on or start. Then we got the 10-inch Lights and Sounds Darth Vader, which I think this is okay. We already had the 4-inch version of this pop, which I do own, so I don't think it's necessary for me to get a 10-inch pop, especially for the limited amount of space that I have. Then we got ourselves the pops announced by Pop Culture, which I believe I know of the retailers outside of Australia that these are being shared to. I believe Jerome McGinley is actually a Canada exclusive. And I also know that because this pop had arrived at our local GameStop about a month ago. I think we did have a Jerome McGinley pop before, but it might have been an away jersey, and this time is a home jersey. But nonetheless, still a pretty decent pop. Do-it-yourself Albus Dumbledore. I don't know where that's being shared to. I would assume Walmart because a lot of the do-it-yourself pops have been Walmart exclusives as of late. And then Koska Reeves, which is, I believe, a specialty series exclusive because I know some retailers have been getting that pop recently. And I'm surprised there's no chase involved with this pop because for some people that might know, Koska Reeves was actually played by WWE superstar Sasha Banks in the series. So I'm surprised that they didn't do a chase where you basically have Sasha Banks' head on a Star Wars body, essentially. But nonetheless, I mean, people are still going to get it, especially WWE fans, knowing that this character is played by Sasha Banks. And then we got ourselves the pop concert moments, which, yes, I did do a video on the channel once again last week, I believe, on these. And these are pretty decent, especially because of the fact that some of them, I feel it's very difficult for them to do the album covers or even the deluxe album. So to do these concert moments is really awesome, especially with the idea of doing new posings compared to what you see with Pop Rocks pops. And I mean, I'm ecstatic for the fact that you have Master of Puppets for Metallica for the sole purpose that we finally have a Cliff Burton pop, who is my favorite bassist of all time. And I mean, I guess it makes sense for Master of Puppets to be made considering the song kind of had a resurgence this year with the release of the new season of Stranger Things and the scene involved in that. So, I mean, definitely makes sense. I definitely will have to get that concert moments at some point. And then the rest are still pretty decent. Okay, so now moving on to the next set of Funko Pops, which range from November 15th all the way until November 20th. So first off, November 15th, Funko had announced the next pop involved in the Power of the Galaxy set, which is of Ahsoka Tano, which is going to be an Amazon exclusive, and that's expected to be released as early as March 2023. Then on November 16th, Funko had announced the Popapalooza reveals, which I will mention so I don't have to go through all of the different dates, is that these range from between they are available now up until as early as April 2023 for the ETA, essentially. So the list of pops we have here for Popapalooza. First off, we have ourselves an Usher Pop Albums for 8701, a Iron Maiden Glow in the Dark 4-pack that will be exclusive to Alliance Entertainment that features Knights of the Dead Eddie, Live After Death Eddie, Seventh Son of Seventh Son Eddie, and Somewhere in Time Eddie, a Madrox and Monoxide 2-pack for Twisted, Flavor Flav, Dee Snider from Twisted Sister, Ronnie James Dio from, of course, Dio, a 4-pack for Pantera that features Philip Anselmo, Vinnie Paul, Dimebag Daryl, and Rex Brown, a 5-pack for The Cure, which features pops of Jason Cooper, Reeves Gabriels, Robert Smith, Simon Gallup, and Roger O'Donnell, a pop albums for Notorious B.I.G.'s Born Again, New Kids on the Block pops, which features Jordan, Joey, Danny, Jonathan, and Donnie, along with all of them featured in a 5-pack exclusive to Walmart. South Park boy band pops of Kyle, Stan, Cartman, and Kenny, along with the Pop Deluxe albums involving the 4 members. And last but not least, for Popapalooza, we have 2 Bella Porch pops, one singular version, and the other being a pop albums for Build a Babe. Then on November 17th, the Funko app had confirmed a pop of Sensuna Tokage from My Hero Academia, which later was confirmed to be a Hot Topic exclusive as a part of the Class 1B set, which unknown of when that pop will be releasing. Funko had announced a pop VHS covers of Boo from Monsters, Inc., which will be an Amazon exclusive, and it's expected to release as early as December 2022. Then on November 18th, Funko had announced the next pop for the Funko Fridays at Target for the Justice League, and it's of Superman, which unknown of when that'll be released. Funko had confirmed another wave of pops for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which features pops of Ironheart MK2, and then a 4-pack featuring Nakia, Black Panther, Okoye, and a glow-in-the-dark Ironheart MK2 that'll be exclusive to Target, and these are expected to release as early as February 2023. Funko had announced a pop of a comic book version of Iron Man, which is going to be exclusive to Amazon, unknown yet of when that'll be released. And then last but not least for this podcast, before the top 10 list, we have ourselves a 10-inch Sentinel with Wolverine from X-Men, which will also have a Black Light 1-in-6 chase, in which this will be a previews exclusive and expected to release as early as January 2023.
All right, so kicking off with the Ahsoka Tano pop. Looks pretty detailed in my opinion. Again, Star Wars pop. You know my opinion on Star Wars pops. Next, moving on to the Popapalooza pops. I guess in no particular order, but I do like the Usher pop. It is pretty nice. I used to listen to a couple of Usher songs back in the day, so it is really nice to see an Usher pop. The Iron Maiden pops all look really nice as well, especially the glow-in-the-dark pops. Then we've got Twisted. Both look really nice as well. We got Flava Flav. Also a really nice looking pop. Very detailed, nice outfit and everything. We've got Dee Snider from Twisted Sister. Hell yeah. Also a really great looking pop as well. And great execution. We've got this pop from Dio. Not too familiar with him, but rock on. He's got that nice pose. He's someone that I might have to search later on. Next, we've got Pantera. Heard a little bit about them and their music. Great execution on these pops as well. The Cure. I don't think I've ever heard a song from them, but again, might have to go look them up as well. Notorious B.I.G. and the Born Again cover looks really, really amazing. Great detail with the outfit and everything, and especially the album cover in the back. Then we've got New Kids on the Block, probably one of my favorite bands growing up. Listened to them quite a bit. I'm glad that Funko decided that they were going to make New Kids on the Block pops, as well as a 5-pack that is exclusive to Walmart. We've got the South Park boy band, as well as the album covers for the South Park boy band. Quite interesting that Funko went this route. I do enjoy it. I haven't watched a lot of South Park, so I'm not sure what episode this is from, but I think all of these characters look really great. And then, of course, we've got Bella Porch. My opinion on her is kind of mixed, but I mean, you have that like TikTok song that's always stuck in your head, and it's an emote on Fortnite actually as well called Build Up, and I think the album covers pop looks a lot better than this common pop. And then moving on to Satsuna, so I'm gonna botch this name. This pop from My Hero Academia. I think it's kind of a very simplistic looking pop, to be honest. Next, we're talking about probably one of my favorite announcements, and that is the Boo Monsters Inc. VHS covers. Well done. We've got Boo with the Monsters Inc. hat, obviously the VHS cover behind it. I'm surprised that Funko didn't try to cover Mike Wazowski's eye a little bit more. Because you know how Mike Wazowski is in the movie. He's like, oh my God, I'm on TV. And or like, a cover of a magazine, and they cover his eye. well done with this execution. I love this pop, and this would be one that I would have to cop. And then next, obviously, we've got the Justice League Superman. Another great looking pop, actually. I've been saying all of these pops look great, but they really are. This Superman looks jacked. The outfit looks really nice. It's got a few different colors going along with it, with the red, some black, and obviously the yellow and the blue, of course. Next, moving on to the Wakanda Forever Pops. I haven't watched it, so not too sure with all these characters. But honestly, I think that the idea of having this Target 4-pack, I think it's okay, I suppose. Especially you get a glow in the dark pop with it. Comic Iron Man pop. I mean, it looks okay, especially with like the base and you have Iron Man like trying to fly. I think it's perfectly executed the way it is. I'm just not too sure about the look of the comic part of the pop. And then finally, we move on to the Sentinel pop. Lots of great colorways going along with this pop as well. So honestly, not too bad.
Alrighty, so kicking off with Ahsoka Tano from Star Wars. This is pretty sweet. I know a lot of people were really hyped about this. I believe this is Ahsoka from Rebels, if I'm not mistaken. This one looks really cool. Probably one of my favorites of this Power of the Galaxy set thus far. I don't know how many more they're going to make for this set. Moving on to the Popapalooza Pops, which was a little bit unexpected since normally Popapalooza happens right during the summer, but it decided to be in November this time. We got ourselves Usher, and this is pretty decent. I know there's a bit of mixed hype because of the way the pop looks, but I mean, sometimes pops, it's very hard to execute someone. The Iron Maiden 4-pack, when this was first announced, I thought it was the other one that was already released and it was a re-announcement, but it's brand new 4-pack with already existing Iron Maiden pops, obviously. But I mean, it's not my cup of tea, though, because I mean, like, if you already have the regular versions, what's the point of getting the 4-pack? Then we have the Twisted 2-pack, and I know there's a lot of people that are hyped about this. I can't exactly remember the genre of Twisted, but I mean, these look really cool, very close to basically Insane Clown Posse. Brand new Flava Flav pop, which we have not gotten since like the one of the very first sets of Pop Rocks pops, where he's wearing, I believe, like a green hat and he's got like the other clock around his neck. Really cool that we have an updated version, especially because it's very hard for people to get that OG Flava Flav pop. We got Dee Snider from Twisted Sister, which this is crazy because this has been teased by Dee Snider since like 2020. I feel like it was like he announced on his Twitter that he was getting his own Funko Pop, but it must be because of obviously everything that's happened the last couple of years around the world that this pop was delayed. And I mean, it looks great. I love the posing, devil horns in the one hand and just a fist on the other. What an awesome band, especially more praise to them for liking our post on Instagram. So thank you, Twisted Sister. Then we got ourselves Ronnie James Dio. A lot of people have been wanting a Ronnie James Dio pop for I don't know how long now. I would have preferred him like in his black clothing, but I do like the way they pulled off the face and kind of like the eyeshadow that's going on, and especially the devil horn pose with him and his microphone, because that's normally his pose. I'm glad that finally Ronnie James Dio has his own pop. Hopefully there are more pops of him, because I think he deserves at least a couple of more. Then we got ourselves the Pantera 4-pack. And this is pretty cool. Another band that people have been wanting pops for a long time. I think making it just the 4-pack is great instead of making, obviously, the singular ones to go along with it. Just because I think we're all sick of seeing that kind of concept going on of just singular pops, then a multi-pack. Then we got ourselves a 5-pack of The Cure. And The Cure is one of those bands where I know of the band, but I can't think of like any of their songs off the top of my head, and I would have to search it. That's kind of the same situation with like Duran Duran, where it's like, oh, I don't know any of their songs, and then you hear Hungry Like the Wolf, and it's like, oh, it's that band that does that song. So that's kind of the same situation I find with The Cure, where I know if I'm going to search up later on The Cure and then listen to a song, it's like, oh, so that song was made by The Cure. Once again, I like the idea of them making a 5-pack instead of the singular pops, just to make it a little bit different. Another Notorious B.I.G. pop albums. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is now his 3rd pop album, because I believe the first one that ever came out for the pop albums lineup in general was a Notorious B.I.G. Ready to Die, and then there was the Life After Death one, and then now there is Born Again. So I mean, like, who knows? I don't know how many more albums that they could pull off with Notorious B.I.G., but they have been pulling a lot of pops off with him. And then we got ourselves the New Kids on the Block, which I mean is a long time coming. They've made so many other boy bands. They did NSYNC, they did Backstreet Boys, and now we have New Kids on the Block, especially with Donnie Wahlberg, the brother of Mark Wahlberg. Pretty decent. I mean, if you want certain members, you can get the singulars, but I mean, if you're going to get all of the members, why buy the common pops? Get that Walmart exclusive 5-pack with the cool looking box that's going on there. South Park, this was a little bit surprising. I felt like they could have pulled off just announcing this with like a brand new wave of South Park pops by itself. But I mean, it makes sense for the sake of the episode that's involved with, where the boys make a boy band. Obviously, for the box, they couldn't call it by the actual name of the band because obviously I don't think it's appropriate to write finger bang on your box for merchandising. So, I mean, the episode was pretty funny though for South Park. Doing the deluxe albums was, I guess, a good way to make it as a 4-pack instead of making a normal 4-pack. And then the Bella Porch pops. It's crazy how Bella Porch now has, I believe, her 4th and 5th pop before some people get their first pop. It's all right, I guess, but I mean, they're pumping out too much Bella Porch right now. Then we got ourselves Setsuna Tokage, I believe it's pronounced. I don't exactly know. I could have butchered that name also. And this is all right. I kind of figured by the way the posing was that it was a part of that 1B set because I remember the silhouette from the last one and it was very similar to that. So I kind of figured that was the last pop being revealed for the Class 1B set. And I mean, it's all right. I don't think it's the greatest, but I don't think it's entirely bad either. Then we have the Monsters Inc. pop VHS covers with Boo. And I mean, it's good and bad at the same time. It's bad because the way they pulled off the pop, like you can see on the cover that Boo is lifting up the Monsters Inc. helmet because it's too big for her head and she's trying to like look. But with the way that this pop looks, they made the hard hat look like it just fits on her head and then her hand is just lifting there. But I think what makes up for this VHS covers is the fact, and I didn't even realize until reading the comments, is that they actually pulled off the ongoing joke of Mike Wazowski's face being covered by using the pop here. And I think they did an excellent job doing that. So I think that kind of makes up for it. But I mean, I think it could have been better. We have Superman, which is really cool. A lot of people are really hyped. I think this is the most hyped pop of that entire set. The Black Panther Wakanda Forever Funko Pops are really cool. I mean, I was really excited for that Ironheart MK2 outfit because I watched the movie recently and I was like, oh my God, I'm hoping that this gets made into a Funko Pop form. I mean, now it did. You can get it glow in the dark with a 4-pack, or you can get it as just a singular pop. Then we got the comic book version of Iron Man. And I mean, this pop looks really cool. I like what they did with this, where you basically have that cell shading like we had with the Superman and the Wonder Woman for DC. It comes with a pin, which is okay, but I really like the base involved, where it is basically like a rock shaped base. It's got the Avengers logo and then the smoke coming up from the fire, which I really enjoy, and especially classic Iron Man posing with his hand out. I think this is a really cool pop, and I believe this is the beginning of a brand new set that's going to be coming out in 2023. So, I mean, I'm excited for how these pops might possibly look if that's the case. And then we have ourselves the 10-inch Sentinel with Wolverine, and I think this is pretty decent. I mean, already the pop kind of looks blacklight as a common or more common because it's a previous exclusive. But then you have the Chase, which is pretty decent, especially when you can tell that the Wolverine, that's little tiny pop there, is blacklight. Are you looking for great pop protectors? Then look no further than popbox.ca. They have a variety of 4-inch and 6-inch protectors in different quantities. Do you want to get 10 protectors, 20? You can get even up to 250 pop protectors over on popbox.ca. And also use our promo code of Funko Popcast for 10% off of your entire purchase of pop protectors. The code is going on until supplies last. So go get your pop protector needs now over on popbox.ca using our code of Funko Popcast to get 10% off.
And let me tell you guys, we're not just screwing around here. These are some great pop protectors. We own a multitude of these protectors. They are some of the best I've seen. Stop buying from EB Games. I'm not boycotting EB Games by any means, but their pop protectors are not as good. So again, use code of Funko Popcast for 10% off.
All right, so now we're going to move over to our top 10 Funko Pops of November 2022, even though this list will definitely change with the bangers we've gotten the last couple of days already, which stay tuned for next week when hopefully MD Shady will be back and he'll be able to do his list, or it might be the update. Might as well kick off like usual, as if MD Shady were here. We'll kick off with Robbie D. What is your number 10 pick?
All right, so coming in at number 10 on my list, it is the Jerome McGinley. Like I mentioned earlier in the podcast, it's great to see that they made a Jerome McGinley pop, as he was such a huge part in the Calgary Flames franchise, and pretty amazing pop overall.
Coming in at number 10 on my list is the Target exclusive Superman. I really enjoy the way this pop looks with the cell shading. There's a lot of hype involved, and especially that mullet. You can't say no to that mullet, but I mean, with obviously the bangers we've gotten the last couple of days that are going to be featured on next week's podcast, I mean, this pop unfortunately is going to be gone from that list.
Coming in at number 9 on my list, it is the Funko Shop exclusive 6-inch Baymax. Honestly, had to put him somewhere. I really like Big Hero 6, the movie, and Baymax is my favorite character, so I had to include him into this list, and overall, really nice pop as well.
Coming in at number 9 on my list is the Target exclusive Wonder Woman pop for the Justice League set. I like it a bit better than Superman because of my own personal reaction towards Wonder Woman. Pretty great. They could realistically switch spots if they wanted to, but once again, I know that there's a lot of pops from the last couple of days that will be featured on next week's podcast, when we most likely will be doing the update, that will definitely take spots, and these pops will unfortunately be removed from that top 10 list. But for right now, still staying at number 9.
Moving on to number 8 on my list, from Twisted Sister, it's Dee Snider from the Popapalooza announcements. Dee Snider, great guy overall, and absolutely love the design of this pop and everything. It was well executed for sure.
Coming in at number 8 on my list is the Box Lunch exclusive Glow in the Dark Miguel from Coco. I really like how they pulled off this Funko Pop where you have essentially the leaves kind of swirling in a circle, I guess, because obviously in the scene that's involved with, he strums Ernesto's guitar, the leaves go up, and then he ends up in the land of the dead. So I really like how they executed it. And I mean, making it glow in the dark, it definitely makes sense because of the leaves being glow in the dark, I guess you could say, or giving off a glow effect that has to send them back to the actual world afterwards.
Moving on to number 7 on my list, gotta go with the New Kids on the Block 5-pack. Great band. And like I mentioned earlier in the podcast as well, listened to them a lot growing up, and very, very fun songs from them. So overall, well done on Funko's part.
Coming in at number 7 on my list is Ronnie James Dio from Dio. Lots of hype, which is why it is at a decent spot on this list, because people have been wanting a Ronnie James Dio pop for a while now. However, there's also some details that I feel like they could have improved on, although there is still some cool detail involved with this pop. But nonetheless, really cool that Ronnie James Dio finally has his own Funko Pop.
Coming in at number 6 on my list, it is the first crossover between our top 10 lists, and that is the Justice League Superman, the Target exclusive. You've already touched up on this, and like you said, the cell shading and everything on this pop looks amazing. I just absolutely love the detail on it.
Coming in at number 6 on my list is the Amazon exclusive comic book Iron Man. This is really cool. I kind of just discussed about this a few minutes ago about the cool bases involved and the cell shading involved. Really, really awesome. And I look forward to the other pops if there is a potential lineup involved.
Coming in at number 5 on my list, it is a concert moments pop, and it is Kiss. Absolutely love the band. I love listening to a bunch of their songs. I even remember playing Guitar Hero and jam out to their songs on there as well that they've had. The iconic I Want to Rock and Roll All Night and Party Every Day. Just, it gets you hyped up, man. Kiss, number 5 on my list for sure.
Coming in at number 5 on my list is the Pantera 4-pack. Hype is really how it got to the top 5 portion of this list, because people have been wanting Pantera for a while, but it doesn't make any higher because of the fact that I don't have too much of a personal reaction towards Pantera themselves. But nonetheless, making it a 4-pack was a smart move. And instead of making singular pops,
Alrighty, coming in at number 4 on my list, another crossover between our top 10 list, DK, and that is the Glow in the Dark Miguel, the box lunch exclusive. Honestly, I absolutely love the detail on this, as you mentioned, with everything, how it looks, the leaves giving off that effect as well. You've already nailed it. Great looking pop overall for sure.
Coming in at number 4 on my list is the Amazon exclusive Boo Monsters Inc. Pop VHS covers. Like I mentioned, really cool that this is being acknowledged as a Pop VHS covers. I think now this is the second Pixar VHS covers, the first one being Toy Story. I wish the Pop was executed a little bit better, which is how it is not in the top 3 portion of this list. But the fact that it has that detail of covering Mike Wazowski's face with the ongoing joke from Monsters, Inc. is what makes up for it and how it is in the top 5 portion of this list at least.
All right, coming in at number 3 on my list, the Macy's Day Grogu. Absolutely amazing looking pop for sure. I think that it was well executed with it being obviously a balloon in a Macy's Day parade. You've got the characters holding on to each of the different sides of it to hold it up in the air and everything. It looks amazing.
Coming in at number 3 on my list, it is the D. Snyder from Twisted Sister. What great detail as terms to this Funko Pop with the way they executed the face paint, the hair, and especially the posing that is involved. I hope that this Pop does not get delayed again because we're not going to take it, Funko. We're sick of these delays. Them liking my post, I mean, that might be a little bit biased of why they made it in the top 3 portion.
Well, coming in at number 2 on my list, it is a Chase Funko Pop, and it is the Flocked Wish Bear from the Care Bears announcement earlier on this month. Really great detail on this, and I'm glad that, they decided to go flocked with this pop. Obviously, we know that certain things make sense for when Funko decides that they're going to flock a pop. So, yeah, this one makes sense for sure, and it's absolutely detailed. So that's why it's number 2 on my list.
Coming in at number 2 on my list is the Cad Bane pop from the Book of Boba Fett. Pretty much one of the first announcements for the month of November. Really cool. We've been wanting a Cad Bane from the Book of Boba Fett because it's more of the live action version instead of the regular cartoony version from either Clone Wars or the Bad Batch. Really detailed with the facial expression, the posing and everything. And I mean, a lot of people are definitely going to buy this pop when it comes out, most likely in 2023.
And finally, coming in at number 1 on my list, the Boo Monsters Inc. Amazon exclusive. Like I said, Monsters Inc. probably one of my favorite movies from Pixar, and absolutely love the execution on this pop, despite there being a few different gripes, but that's okay. Absolutely amazing.
So coming in at number 1 on my list is the Walmart exclusive Metallica Master of Puppets Tour 1986 Pop Concert Moments. I enjoyed the hell out of this pop. I love the stage. I love the fact that we finally have a Cliff Burton pop. And I mean, overall, the way that it was executed is awesome. This is a 100% cop for me. And that's why it's number 1 on my list. Anyways, guys, that is going to be the end of today's podcast. If you enjoyed this week's edition of a Funko Podcast, make sure you smash that like button, comment in the comment section below, and let us know what was your favorite pops from this month. Press the subscribe button for more content like this podcast and any other videos we do on this channel in the future, and press the little bell beside it to be notified of when that future content gets released. And if you guys haven't yet, follow us on all of our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at a Funko Podcast. It'll be listed in the description below. But anyways, guys, thank you for listening to this week's podcast, and we hope to see you guys next week when we talk about CCXP reveals and especially Spider-Man No Way Home pops. 1, 2, 3, I'm out of here.
Peace in, peace out.